How do you know that God exists? The teleological argument claims that nature is so complex it must have had a designer. The cosmological argument claims cause and effect as proof that the universe must have had a first cause. The ontological argument claims that a maximally good God could not exist only in thought, but must exist in reality as well. Although these approaches have had some influence, the best evidence that God exists is not in philosophical arguments, but in an actual person. The person who proves God's existence is Jesus. The philosopher Saul of Tarsus once said that Jesus is the image of the invisible God. How could Jesus prove that God exists? Jesus' life was foretold centuries earlier with detail and accuracy by a host of people who claimed to speak on behalf of God. Assuming the Gospels are reliable, only the existence of an intelligent being who knows the future can account for this phenomenon. Jesus affirmed that these prophecies were about him when he said to the Pharisees, "For if you believed Moses, you would believe me, for he wrote about me." Assuming the Gospels are reliable, Jesus' public supernatural actions can only be accounted for by the existence of an active and intelligent supernatural being. He often called God his Father and claimed that his supernatural actions were God's own actions at work through him. Jesus once said, "The Son can do nothing by himself. Whatever the Father does, the Son also does." Jesus said that we should believe in God because of the supernatural works that he performed. He said it this way, "Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me," or at least believe on the evidence of the works themselves. Jesus claimed to be the human form of the invisible God. He said, "Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. Also, I and the Father are one, and before Abraham was, I am." The skeptic might argue that Jesus' story is made up, or that the Gospels are not trustworthy. However, even a skeptic would admit that if the Gospels were proved to be trustworthy, it would prove the existence of God. So, are the Gospels trustworthy?